Andy's Hollywood's go-to guy for health and fitness. It's Fitness Confidential with celebrity fitness trainer Vinnie Tortorich and co-host Andy Schreiber.
Your good intentions have been stolen, and I'm here to help you get them back. I am Vinnie Tortorich, folks, and you, if anyone has been paying attention to this podcast for any amount of time, you guys know what kind of fan I am of Janis Joplin. Somehow, I don't know, I have this kind of weird kinship to her. Died way too young, love her to death, and I think she was misunderstood more than anyone in the world. Another person who's misunderstood and probably has no idea who Janis Joplin is because he doesn't follow those kind of people. He's always turning his nose up at the kind of stuff I like when it comes to music, but I love him anyway. He's been my good friend for a long time. He does the Wednesday show around here, but you already knew that because it's Wednesday and you're listening. I'm talking about Andy Schreiber. How you doing, buddy?
I am doing great, but I'm going to correct you right now.
Do you like Janis?
I love Janis.
Do you really? We've never had that conversation before.
No,
I just assumed.
I love Janis Joplin. And you know who else loved Janis?
Who?
I'm going to tell you something. And unfortunately, you never got to meet him. My dad was a big Janis Joplin fan.
Really?
He loved Janis Joplin. Something about her, the rawness and the honesty and the direct, visceral thing that she had connected with my dad. He loved Janis Joplin.
Right here, listen to this.
Hang
on it. Hang on.
Amazing.
Oh, my God. I'm playing Cry Baby right now, Ange. Oh, God, she was so good, Ange.
She was amazing. She was absolutely amazing. She was one of a kind, and yet, as you said, too young. She's in the
27 Club.
27 Club, exactly. My words exactly.
Yeah.
The 27 Club, along with somebody else that I think was amazing, Jim Morrison.
You see, here's the thing. I never liked Jim Morrison. I never liked the Doors.
How can you not like the Doors?
I didn't get him, man. I wasn't feeling his vibe.
Oh, I think they were amazing. I love Jim Morrison.
I know people loved him and the whole thing. He was just, Janis was, look, as far as the 27 Club goes, Janis and Hendrix we played on the last show. I loved him. And another one in the 27 Club that I loved, great guitarist. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I'm not sure.
Think about it. One of the best blues guitarists, white guy. Think about it.
I'm drawing a blank.
I'm gonna let you sit there and think about it because people.
No, don't, because I'm not. I'm gonna draw a blank because I'm not. So just spill it.
You know what? I'm gonna do one better. I'm gonna pull up a song.
You're gonna play it.
Yeah. I'm gonna pull up. Here we go. And Andy, the reason I'm doing this is because Louisiana has been flooding.
Terrible.
And he had a song called Texas Flood. And let's see if we can pull up Texas Flood right here. Coming at you, folks, for the first of three. Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Oh, yeah.
And his song Texas Flood. You heard it first on the X. 27 Club right here.
You know who else? Somebody that I am actually a big fan of. I don't know if you are. We've never
Go on.
Discussed this person either. Amy Winehouse.
You know what? Here's how I feel about Amy Winehouse. I watched that special on her.
The documentary, which was a great documentary, by the way.
Yeah. And I fell in love with her, and I fell in love with how lost she was. And
so lost.
Her
so
story was so similar to Janis Joplin. Janis grew up right across the Louisiana border in a small town in Texas, came from a very normal family, had this incredible voice. She was never the good-looking girl. She knew that from the time she was a little girl.
No, this was not a looker.
And she would even draw pictures of what good-looking girls should look like. You know, her story is very sad.
So sad. That is so sad.
It turns out she's got this incredible talent, this incredible voice, and she gets out there. She's known worldwide. She goes back between high school and right before her 27th birthday. She goes back to her 10-year reunion, and she thought, hey, now I'm a big deal. I'll be super accepted. The media was there and everything, and the guys were like, yeah, we still don't want to fuck her type of thing. And it trashed her. And she got deeper and deeper into the heroin thing, and the only time she felt love was when she was on stage.
Yeah.
And she would get off of stage, and there would be a big void. You know, just this big kind of void. You know, look, Andy, as you know, I go up on stage all the time now. By the way, folks, you could come see me on stage down at the Irvine Improv on October 27th. Be there or be square. Get your tickets now. You can go to VinnieTortorich.com. Look at Vinnie's Big Fat Show. There's a big blinking banner at VinnieTortorich.com. Or you can go straight to the Irvine Improv and get that ticket. Do it now. It's not that expensive. We call my shows snowflakes because no two are exactly alike. It's the only time you'll be in a comedy club where you get rewarded for talking to the guy up on stage. Go and do it right now, October 27th, Irvine Improv. Anyway, there is a letdown when you walk off of a stage. I get that. You know, I walk off of stages all the time. But for me, it's small audiences, and I'm not performing like they perform. But when you walk away from that moment on the stage, there's a letdown. Can you imagine what that was like when you're Janis Joplin and there's a big audience, and I mean, you're leaving your heart on stage, right?
Look, Vinny, and look, you're talking about somebody who, you know, was emotionally damaged to begin with.
Yeah.
So,
and there was a guy who she found who had fallen in love with her. She met him some other country or something. He, you know, but then he went off to find himself, type of thing, and. You know, she was always feeling lonely. You know, the band, everybody was, you know, when she was with Big Brother and the holding company, they would all leave the stage and they had their significant others there and they would go party and the whole thing.
And she was alone.
She'd go back to like dive hotels to go just get drunk and wait for the next show.
And shoot up.
And she was really lonely. She was expecting a call from this guy or a note or a letter. The guy didn't send it to her. She goes up and, you know, just says, you know what, I'm just going to have a little party with myself. Takes a little too much heroin and kills herself.
That's all it takes.
As it were, there was a note waiting for her downstairs in the lobby. The person at the desk forgot to give it to her. Yeah, sad story. She had a real problem, and, you know, she will be missed anyway.
Well, she has been missed for, you know, 40 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So,
Andy, we promised to talk about this in this show. We got a letter. I got a letter from a listener. We can mention his name. Go ahead and read the letter. Mention his name. I don't have it in front of me.
I'm just going to say his first name. His name is Mark. And this is what he wrote because I have it pulled up in front of me.
What's his name again?
Mark.
Okay.
Yeah. He writes, the listener writes, Vinny, heard you on Dr. Drew last week. You briefly touched on fitness for older men with him. I'd love it if you devote a whole episode or more of your podcast to men over, say, 45 to 50 and what their fitness regimen and lifestyle should be. I'm turning 49 soon, and with a hard-earned 10% body fat, go Mark, but my mind sometimes still thinks I'm 25 when I'm working out. I'm tired and sore a lot. Please consider this topic. Love your fitness knowledge. Keep it up and take care. Mark. First of all, let me just say.
No, 49.
To Mark, 49, calling yourself an older man, Mark, with all due respect, fuck you.
Yeah. We love you, but go fuck yourself.
We love you, but fuck you. As somebody who's staring 60 in the face for, you know, in a few months, love you, mean it, fuck you.
All right, so Andy, This is going to be more than one conversation. We could do 5 podcasts on this.
Oh, yeah. This is a big topic.
We could do 20 podcasts on it. So let's start with what Dr. Drew was talking about that day.
All right.
I think he was talking about how his back was hurting him, his lower back and the whole thing. He was asking me about some stretches or something. I said, how did you hurt your back? He goes, I was doing squats. And I said, well, Drew, were you going heavy? And he goes, yeah. And I said, well, you gotta warm into that now, man. You can't. And he's the same way. We're all the same way. And Mark, I'm just like you. I'm the same way. I still think I'm 25.
Yeah, I still think when I mentally picture myself, I'm 28.
Someone saw a picture of me and Gina Grad the other day and said I looked like Jimmy Buffett.
What?
And in my mind, I'm still the guy who used to do modeling gigs.
Yeah, you're the guy with the seashell in front of his crotch,
right.
Or the guy in the pink pants on
right.
on Oprah.
Meanwhile, the guy's going, oh, you remind me of Jimmy Buffett. I'm like, wow. Okay. But in my mind, I'm not that guy. The first thing, when it comes to weightlifting, if you're going to do things like squat, like today was my squat and leg press day, and I did some deadlifts and the whole thing. The thing that will crap out on me quicker than anything else is my back. That's just a fact.
You know what, Vin? That's just the way it is.
So here's the best way to ward against that. On the day when I do leg press, squats, and all that, I will start by doing 15 minutes on a rower. The rowing machine, the Concept 2 rower. And
a rower.
Huh?
A rower.
Yeah. What am I saying?
No, I got it. But the first time you said it sounded like a roar.
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 Okay. So I'll spend 10, 15 minutes on that just to warm up, and then I will go stretch for a good 20 or 30 minutes. Now, I get it. Some people don't have that much time to work out, but I've screwed myself up just by going right into squats that I will do that. And then after my stretch, right, I will then start with very light squats. Literally, I won't get into how much weight I use and all that because this is not about me. First set,
start to compare. Well, Vinny said he does this many pounds. I better be,
But my first set every time is the bar with a 10-pound plate on each side, getting really deep, making sure everything is operating the way it's supposed to be operating. And if I feel a little tight, I might go off and do lunges or leg press first and continue to warm up and stretch before I go back and do squats. I generally never do deadlift before I do squats. I always do squats and then deadlift.
Yeah.
But it's the type of thing where I literally kind of ramp up into it very slowly.
Well, you got to.
Yeah, it's not like the good old days where I go warm up with 135 and then pop another player and make it 2 1/4, do a couple of sets with that, and then move it up to 350. That kind of stuff doesn't happen anymore. Why should it? I'm not playing football. I don't need big giant quads and the whole thing. So when it comes to that sort of thing, and I'm talking specifically about legs, I do a big warm up into it, and then Mark, you can go as heavy as you want as you build into it. And some days, I got to be honest, some days when I go to the gym, if I'm feeling overly sore, I'll just make it a really light leg day. And the same goes for upper body. Now, Mark, you and me, we have different upper bodies because I'm rehabbing a shoulder that was dormant for 25 years. But, now I'm getting that shoulder back, so I'm taking it easy. But with all of my older clients, I have a rock star that's in his 50s. I got another actor that's 60-something. Yeah, with these people, we start every time, and they get frustrated by it. I make them do light sets to break into their heavier sets. And they hate it, but then they always tell me they appreciate it because, you know what, year in and year out, they don't get hurt.
That's right.
You got to warm up. The older you get, the more warm up it takes. Now, as far as getting into the heavier weights, if that's what you're all about, Mark, do it. When it comes to aerobic activity, and we'll get into aerobic activity more on a different podcast, but as you get older, I've seen guys, my buddy David Holt was turning 60 and was still, when he went out to do the 508 or the race across Oregon or any of those races, he was always in contention of winning the whole damn thing. Not age group, the whole thing against 30-year-olds. So aerobic capacity especially if you're not doing Lance Armstrong type stuff. If you're doing the long form stuff, you can keep your aerobic capacity pretty high for a long time.
Yeah.
Even though your max isn't what it used to be when you were a kid.
That's right.
Right.
But it's that duration. Look, you and I have been hiking together how many times?
A few.
A few. I can hike for hours.
Yeah.
For hours.
At a pretty strong pace.
At a very good pace, but I'm basically in zone 2 when I'm doing that.
Oh, I went up to
like little bits. I'll do some sprints maybe where I go up to zone 3, but I'm doing most of it in zone 2.
Right.
And I can just kind of go. I don't want to say forever, but I can go for a damn long time.
Oh, I know.
For a guy pushing.
Now, Andy, that mic you have in front of your face, can you lower it a bit? Because every time you breathe, I can hear your nose breathing going in and out. Like that.
All right, yeah.
Lower it a bit. Okay. You know that hike that you and I took with your buddy, and it was really steep and the whole thing?
The one with we did with Serena and Kevin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I went up that hike 2 weekends ago, really hot, and I wore my monitor. I don't wear my monitor out, my heart rate monitor, just to see how far out of zone 2 I was going.
Yeah.
All the way to the top, zone 2 the whole way.
There's no reason that you can't do that hike.
And that's a climb. I was running most of that. Sometimes I tapped into zone 3, but anybody could do it. The longer you can stay in zone 2, the more mitochondria you'll build up, the larger your aerobic base will become, the better off you will be. So as you get older, aerobic sports become better in a weird sort of way.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Yeah. You're not, look, you can't go run a 400 meter and win it. You're not that guy anymore. But if you do long form, you can do it.
You don't want to or need to.
You might want to. Who knows?
I don't know. I don't want to or need to. I find that I am very happy to be able to go out on any given day and do a 5, 10, 15, 20 mile, challenging hike.
Right.
Staying largely in zone 2. Maybe, I'll see if I see a nice kind of, a couple 100-yard hill in front of me. I'll say, I'm going to sprint that, and I'll sprint up it just because I can and because it's kind of fun. And then I at the end and I keep going. But as long as I'm prepared and I know what I'm doing and I've brought enough water and I've brought enough, proper things to eat, I can kind of go almost
indefinitely, right?
Of course not completely, but yeah. The only thing that used to mess me up was I would get problems with my feet, but turned out that I never believed this, but it's true. Your feet get bigger when you get older. Did you know that?
I did know that. Your
it's
feet
true.
They spread out. Basically,
they spread
people
out.
lose their arc and the whole thing.
I was always a size 12, and I was wondering why when I was taking a long hike, I'd get problems like my toenails would turn black, my big toe. And turns out I'm not a size 12 anymore. I'm now a size 13.
You're a size boat.
I'm a boat.
Andy, the other thing is, Mark mentioned, or am I making this part up? Did he mention that he feels tired and sore more often?
Yes.
Okay.
I said that that he gets tired and sore.
Okay.
Exactly those
Mark, on those days, that means you need more rest. Just take more rest. Sometimes when you get older, it means you're not going to lose your 10% body fat. You're not going to, start losing muscle mass. Just take it easy on those days. Don't go at it as hard. Trust me, you'll come back the next day like gangbusters.
Can I say something here?
No, but go on.
Oh, listen to you. This is going to sound like a cheap plug, but I'm saying this not to make a cheap plug, but because it's actually good advice. For that kind of muscle soreness, it's really good?
Magnesium.
Yes.
That's why. Look, Andy. We don't tell people to take it twice a day, but you know how many? Well, you know how many people are taking it twice a day. You do all the orders
twice a day, but I bring that up not to just plug our product, but because if you're dealing with muscle soreness, that is one of the things that magnesium is particularly good for. And if you're gonna take magnesium, which one should you take?
Broad spectrum magnesium by purevitaminclub.com.
Yes. So that was my cheap way of incorporating into the content of this podcast, very legitimately, because it's a legitimate point.
Yeah.
Magnesium is a very useful nutrient for dealing with muscle aches, muscle stiffness, muscle cramping, any of the above.
Yeah. So, Andy, let's call it right there. But this is a subject I want to revisit over and over, because we could talk about this for hours, and we try to keep these podcasts to a low roar. You and I have other work to do.
I'm happy to talk about it anytime, because it applies to, frankly, to both of us, because we're both in our 50s.
Yeah. We got to do a couple of plugs. I'm trying to pull up a song, but I'm trying to do it without my glasses on.
Oh, forget that. That's another thing about being in your 50s. You know, yeah, you and I are both always reaching for the reading glasses. That's something. There's really nothing you can do about it, and frankly, it sucks.
All right, so wait, let me do this. Andy, why don't you tell people about Pure Vitamin Club while I'm looking for this song?
Pure Vitamin Club, as anybody who listens to this regularly knows, is Vinny's and my company. We produce what we believe and know to be the very best vitamin supplements available. We have our daily multi-cap, which provides 13 essential vitamins, all 13 of the essential vitamins, plus 11 key minerals, with no additives, no fillers of any kind, which is unlike any other vitamin currently available on the market. And then we also have our broad spectrum magnesium caps, which are a unique formula of 4 different types of magnesium, carefully balanced to provide you the best and most thorough set of benefits from each of those types of magnesium, and also with no additives, no fillers, no junk, all the crap that everybody puts into their vitamins, we don't do. We have another product coming out. We're working on it now. Hopefully it will be out by mid-October. Depends on how the testing goes. So I don't want to give any hard and firm dates until we know that. But we've got that product coming in October, and we have a few surprises up our sleeves for...
Andy, that's the longest, boringest ad. Just tell people to go to purevitaminclub.com, buy the vitamins. You're going to love them.
You told me to do it. That wasn't boring.
Jesus Christ. Folks, look. Go help us out. You can go to VinnieTorres.com, click through the Amazon banner, and you put a little coal on the fire. You'll get the train down the track. Andy, I'm going to play the whole song Louisiana by Randy Newman. I don't know if you know this, but Louisiana had what they're calling biblical proportions of rain.
Yeah, I do know that.
They're saying in the past 500 years, look, my family, everybody on there is used to seeing rain, right?
Yeah.
The dealership that my brother works at, it went underwater. Like the cars were buried underwater all the way over the roof. They've lost tens of millions of dollars worth of cars. And, this flood, this rain just never stopped. And I got to tell you this, folks, if there's any help you could give the people out there, this show won't be out for a few weeks, because of the news cycle. We will be talking about something else. I'm sure Trump will be doing something that we'll be talking about. But I got to tell you, just talking to the people down there over the past couple of days, if you could get a phone line in, we're recording this on the 15th of August. Just getting down there, getting a phone line has been ridiculous. They're saying that the people down there said, Katrina was bad, but it was over in no time. This is way worse. So we will be playing the entirety of Louisiana 1927 by Randy Newman. I think the song is apropos. So you know what to do. Go to Amazon, go to VinnieTorres.com, click through. And Andy, you can hang up, but I'm going to call you back because you and I have other work to do. I'm going to call you back on the phone in about 3 minutes when the song is over with. On behalf of Andy Schreiber, my name is Vinnie Tortorich. Put life into living, and let's do it with a little Randy Newman.
has happened down here is the wind has changed. Clouds roll in from the north and it starts to rain. Rain real hard and rain for a real long time. 6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline. River rolls all day, the river rolls all night. Some people got lost in the flood. Some people got away all right. River has busted through, clear down to Clackamas. 6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline. Louisiana, Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. Louisiana, Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. President Coolidge come down the railroad train with a little fat man with a notepad in his hand. President say, little fat man, you need a shame what the river has done to this poor cracker's land. Louisiana, Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. Louisiana, Louisiana, they're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away.
Pure Vitamin Club. Purest high-quality ingredients. 0 fillers and additives. Direct to your door for pennies a day. PureVitaminClub.com.